Hey guys, here with another draft. Today I'm going to be playing some Modern Masters 2 draft, and we've got a sweet one to open up with. Dismember. This is one of the best cards. Let me just pull up this little preview window since I know the mouse doesn't really show up, so you can actually see what I'm talking about when I am clicking on cards. But anyway, yes, Dismember, quite a good Magic card. And so very good to first pick in draft just because it's a colorless card. You can play it, and I will play it in any color deck, because a card that is 1 mana, target creature gets -5/-5, you lose 4 life, is an incredible Magic card and definitely a first pick quality card. The only other real consideration here is Court Hommunculus, in my opinion, and that's just because I think this card is so good in its deck, and not only that, but in the mono-white affinity or white-blue affinity deck, you want to be playing, get out of here, you want to be playing as many Court Homunculuses as you can get, and you want 3 to 4 of them. So I don't mind first picking one and then kind of hedging later, and maybe this doesn't make my deck, but if it does, then that's a really high reward for me to get a Court Hommunculus early on. But it's a pretty easy pick for me to just say Dismember first, and we'll go from there. So Rare was taken out of this pack. That doesn't tell me too much. There are plenty of good first pickable rares, but it's got to be a good one because he left me a Burst Lightning, which is a very high quality first pick. Cheap removal is always something that's going to be powerful in draft, and Burst Lightning is no example, especially considering it can go upstairs, and you can it scales well into the late game. So in the early game you can kill their 2-drop with a 1 mana spell and still develop your board, and in the late game you can take care of a more mid-range threat. So I really like this card, and I'm happy to be taking it second pick as well. The things that I'm passing that are kind of relevant and that I should be noting is this Rusted Relic, really, and honestly, it's not going to go for a couple more picks unless somebody's really hard committing into Affinity. And then outside of that, there's nothing too powerful in this pack. There's a Waxmane Baku and a Wayfarer's Bauble and an Evolving Wilds, but nothing really too noteworthy that I have to be saying, okay, now I know that my opponent, or the guy to my left, is going to be in this color because I passed him this amazing, incredible card. So even though I have a red and a black card, that doesn't really force me into red-black aggro, even though that is one of the decks that I like the best. The reason being, Dismember is very splashable, and I can really be in any color that has red in it. And even Burst Lightning is a splash card. Not only that, we're still really early in the pack and in the draft, so I can definitely be wherever I want. So Necrogenesis is a really strong card, but I think I'd rather stay on color with Burst Lightning and take this other removal spell in Spite Bellows. I don't love this card. For whatever reason, it never really seems to do what I want it to do, but I do recognize the power level of a sorcery speed, 1 red, deal 6 damage, and I mean, to be honest, playing it as a 6 mana card is pretty much worthless in this format, but you never know. You could get out on an empty board and it could do some damage. The other consideration is like Cathodian, maybe even Dread Drone, but that's pretty much it. So it wasn't too strong of a pack, that's why I'm pretty happy to be taking Spite Bellows. So I was about to start going off and saying, well, maybe I should take this, maybe I should take that. I was thinking of Aether Snipe because it's elementals. Both Arrest and Blinding Soul Eater are left in this pack, which leads me to believe that white is possibly open because these are both 2 really high pick white cards. But judging by the overall power level of this pack, I would say that the first 3 cards, the foil and the rare, were both rares and both strong rares. And then the other common, I don't even know what it was. It must have been, I can't even fathom. But, I mean, it could have been like a Court Hommunculus somebody took. Well, they probably would take Blinding Soul Eater over it. So yeah, I really don't know what the 4th card was. But just probably a really strong card in an archetype that somebody was already in. But Burst Lightning is in the pack, and I'm going to continue my, my trend to take these really strong removal cards and kind of see what comes to me. Alright, so now we get into this pack, which is a little bit weak. There's a Repeal, if I want to try and maneuver towards red-blue. There is a Lodestone Golem and a Glinthawk Idol for the Affinity player. Lodestone Golem can go in really any deck, so I could consider taking it here. I think I'm just going to be safe and go with the Bounce Land, just because it's pretty safe to say that whatever deck well, It's not really that safe to say. If I end up in red-black aggro, I won't really want to play this. But if I end up in red-blue, or... I guess this is really just a red-blue card, huh? Well, maybe it's better to be taking the Lodestone Golem here, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to take this as it Boilerworks, and we'll see where we can go from here. That last pack was kind of a bust either way. Not too much, no matter what, no matter which direction I take it. So Dusk Hunter Bat going 6th isn't a huge sign, but I'm not passing up anything here. There's a Gust Skimmer and a Fairy Mechanist, which leads me to believe that Affinity actually, or this seat would be a good seat for Affinity. And if you kind of rewind the draft, you can see how if I had taken the Court Hommunculus first, I would be pretty happy to be in Affinity. There was that Rusted Relic. Last pick I would have gotten a Glinthawk Idol, or 2 picks ago I would have gotten a Glinthawk Idol, and then last pick I would have gotten a Lodestone Golem. So there's plenty of good stuff for Affinity all around. But I'm pretty happy with the direction that I've gone so far. But yeah, I mean, Tribal Flame's not really a great one color card. You kind of need the other color for it to be solid in your deck. So here we don't really have too many options, but this pack isn't very playable in general. There's an Agony Warp, there's a Shrivel. Shrivel is mostly a sideboard card, but an Agony Warp and a Gust Skimmer are the 2 really strong cards for their archetypes. But I'll take an Interflame Igniter. I don't mind this card at all, and if I do end up in red-blue elementals, then I can play it there. If I end up in red-white somehow, I can't really see how I'd get there, but maybe I'll end up in red-white with a bunch of removal, and I can do that. And if I end up in red-black, then this card's still pretty good in there too, so pretty happy to pick it up. And Goblin Fireslinger seems like the best option, and we can move into a red-black Bloodthirsty deck. I like Fireslinger in really any aggressive deck, but it's very, very good in the Bloodthirst-centric deck. I haven't seen too many Blood Ogres or anything. I saw Gorehorn Minotaurs in an early pack, I know. But definitely one of my biggest problems in Magic and in drafting is just remembering what I've seen, and I have to pay more attention to it, and I know that it's something on my list of what I have to get better at. So I'm not exactly sure what cards I've seen in the past for it, but I think that Goblin Fireslinger will be pretty good in my deck if I end up in a red-black deck. So here's the Gorehorn Minotaurs. Definitely going to take that. I thought it was in this pack. There is a Fulminator Mage, which I actually think is a pretty strong card considering how many bounce lands are going around, but Gorehorn Minotaurs is a really, really solid card for the deck, and actually a very strong sign that nobody else is in the Bloodthirst deck. Because I don't remember, but I don't think that my original pack was that powerful, so picking up a Gorehorn Minotaurs is a really good sign for me. So, as I was saying, Rusted Relic, not necessarily a great affinity card, and somebody's going to get it really late, and they're going to be thrilled, but at the same time, it's not a big sign saying, hey guys, Affinity's open, there's Rusted Relics coming around. But yeah, I'll take another Interflame Igniter. I'm not too unhappy to be playing a couple of those. It's an interesting pick. I don't think that just playing the 2/2 is that good. I don't think I want to pick up another bounce land in my what should be aggressive curve deck, so I'm just going to take this Tumble Magnet, and I don't know if I'll play it, but it should be fine either way. Take the Shrivel for the sideboard, that should be nice. I could either take this Blades of Velos Veil, which is very unlikely to make my deck, so I'll just hate the Somber Hoverguard actually, and Fairy Mechanist. So yeah, as I was saying, the Affinity deck looks pretty open, or at least the blue version of the Affinity deck. It could be that somebody's moved into mono-white Affinity. So after the first pack, I've seen a couple of really strong removal spells, which was nice, and 4th, 5th pick Burst Lightning was really great to see, which kind of means that I'm going to be seeing some strong red cards late in pack 2. I'm not exactly sure what I'll see in pack 1, but, late in pack 3, but I'm not exactly sure what I'll see this pack. So this is kind of an interesting decision. I have to choose between Blood Ogre, the good payoff card for being a Bloodthirsty deck, or the Enabler in Goblin Fireslinger. And I think that I'm just going to take Blood Ogre, because if I don't end up with a bunch of Dusk Hunter Bats, which I honestly think I will, then Goblin Fireslinger is going to be worse than a card like Blood Ogre, because I'm going to be able to fill out my 2-drop slot with even mediocre stuff like Venashino Slaughtermaster, or some Elementals, some 2/1 guys. So I should be able to fill out my 2-drop slot and be able to activate the Blood Ogre a significant amount of the time, especially considering how much removal I have already. So yeah, I'll take this Goblin Fire or this Blood Ogre and hope the Fire Slinger tables, but I'm not really expecting it to. It's more of a well, if that happens, that'll be great for me. So it is important to remember that I don't necessarily have to be black at this point. I could still move into something like white for Sunlance, or I don't know, green for this. No, I'm not going to move into green for a spider, but Grim Affliction is probably the best card in the pack, and if I do really end up heavy on Bloodthirst, then it's going to be a sweet card because it'll help me proliferate, and if I draw it in the late game, then it could be a really strong and powerful play. There is an argument to take Smash to Smithereens. This pack is kind of weak overall, and that card is actually pretty good out of the sideboard, especially in an aggressive red-black deck. But I think that Grim Affliction is a solid main deck card that I'm going to be really happy to take. And then, of course, I get this pack, which is really tough. I think I'm going to take Lightning Bolt. I saw, actually, Marshall Sutcliffe was playing a draft, and he had the same decision between Lightning Bolt and Banefire, and he kind of slammed Banefire. I'm not exactly sure that's right. In his deck, it was probably correct, because he was playing a big red-green ramp deck with multiple rampant growths and a lot of Eldrazi spawn tokens and that kind of thing, so he could really just Banefire somebody out from 10. But this deck is going to be light on lands. I mean, I'll probably play 17, but I might play 16 and a bounce land, or I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to go with it. And the cheap interaction should be a lot better for me, where I'm trying to curve out and play an aggressive strategy than a Banefire. So yeah, I think that Lightning Bolt is pretty clearly the pick over Banefire here. Gorehorn Minotaurs would be great to table, and I think that there's a good chance that I get it back, so that's nice. Wow, okay. This is quite the pack. Just because Stormblood Berserker immediately caught my eye, and this card is incredible, and especially in the kind of deck, if I get a couple more Fire Slingers, then it'll be great. But there's an overwhelming Stampede in this pack, and this is basically just like the best card in the format, or one of them, and it'll be insane in my deck too. The only problem is I would have to abandon my black cards, which isn't necessarily too big of an issue, but I think I am going to take the Stormblood Berserker and stay the course. There's definitely a strong argument to be taking this Stampede here, especially considering I haven't seen much black early in this pack, and I don't think that I'll see much in pack 3 since it wasn't too open in pack 1 either. So just being red-green, mostly red, splash green for that kind of thing makes sense, but I'm going to go with the Stormblood Berserker here. Alright, I'll take another Spite Bellows just because there's not really much else in this pack. There's a Copper Carapace, there's a Narcolepsy, Scavenger Drake is good for someone. Even though this is a black card, this is not a card for my deck, so I'll take Spite Bellows number 2, but I'm really loading up on this removal, especially the expensive-ish removal. This is an interesting pick between Vampire Lacerator and Blood Ogre. It's similar to the decision that I had earlier between Blood Ogre and Goblin Fireslinger. I think I'm going to take the Blood Ogre again, just because, well, actually, I probably should take the Vampire Lacerator. Blood Ogre is a much better card because Vampire Lacerator is a lot worse than Goblin Fireslinger, but at the same time, I really am going to need some enablers if I have this kind of curve going on, but yeah, I'll take the Blood Ogre just because I like it a lot better. If I had been given the exact same choice between Fireslinger, I'd take the Fireslinger right now. Not only that, but I'm not sure how heavy black I want to be, so casting a one-drop black creature might be a little bit more difficult than I'll actually want it to be. So here I have the decision between a second Grim Affliction, which would be my third sorcery, or my third kind of clunky removal spell, a Brute Force, which I only have really 8 creatures since these 2 Spite Bellows aren't creatures, so that doesn't necessarily seem ideal, or this Smash to Smithereens for the sideboard, and I'm just gonna slam that off right here. I'll be really happy to be playing those out of the sideboard. Okay, and here, not too much for me. There's a Sigil Buzzing and a Fortify, so somebody's gonna be happy. I'm just gonna take this Blood Throne Vampire. It's very unlikely that I play it, but if I have no playables, then I might need to throw in just a regular creature. So we got the Goblin Fireslinger back, which is very awesome. It makes me happy about the Vampire Lacerator pick, and obviously happy about the Blood Ogre pick. Cool. I'll take this Brute Force now. I'm probably not going to play it, but I'll pick it up. pick it up over hating a random card from somebody who wouldn't mind playing it. So unfortunately for me, the Bloodshot Trainee tabled and not the Gorehorn Minotaurs, but that's quite all right. Here I'm going to take the Viashino Slaughtermaster over the Innerflame Igniter because it actually works pretty well with Innerflame Igniter, and also kind of makes me want to bring that that Brute Force back in. Plus, I'm pretty happy to play like a Copper Carapace or a whatever the 3-drop one is in this deck. So yeah, Viashino Slaughtermaster, Sickle Slicer I was trying to say. Viashino Slaughtermaster ends up getting some value, and I often actually see that there's a ton of overlap between my my red-black decks and Viashino Slaughtermaster. I've been behind this whole draft. I'm finally ahead of somebody when it comes to the last pick. Oh, we got the Brute Force back. So yeah, I've got 2 Brute Forces now. Tumble Magnet probably won't make the deck, just because I already have all these non-creature spells. So, in fact, I'll even take it out right now. But, yeah, this is actually looking pretty solid so far. I could use a couple more Dusk Hunter Bats. Probably like 3 more. And again, if there really is a strong reason to move out of color, and if there's a bomb and there isn't even another real playable card in my deck, then maybe I'll try and move in on something else. It's a little late, but it's still definitely a possibility. But either way, I mean, this card probably isn't going to be in my aggressively curved deck, even though I have a bunch of Innerflame Igniters, still probably not making the cut. This is actually kind of a tough pick between Burst Lightning number 3 and Gorehorn Minotaurs. Yeah, this is actually a really tough pick because I need a lot more I need more creatures. I already have 3 very cheap, or 4 really cheap interactive removal spells, and it's not like they get worse in multiples, but you do need creatures, and I think I'm actually going to take the Minotaurs here. Well, let's actually see. So if I take the Burst Lightning, the better cards in the pack than Gorehorn Minotaurs are Nest Invader, Rune Servitor, Ether Snipe, Thief of Hope, Sunlance, Lodestone Mirror, Oblivion Ring. There's a good chance that this will table. This is definitely not tabling. So just because of that, I'm going to take the Burst Lightning over the Minotaurs and hope it comes back. But I'm pretty happy to have the Burst Lightning in my deck, even if I don't get the other guy back anyway. Okay, so there's like Daggerclaw, Imp, or Vampire Lacerator. I think I'm going to take Lacerator here, just to try and be a little bit more aggressive. But I could use some 2-drops. I've only got 3 at this point, and I usually like about 5 or 6. So in these kind of red-black aggro decks. There's another Dusk Hunter Bat. That's kind of exactly what I wanted to see. Another Arrest is here, and I mean, we thought that what would be open in this pack, so that's not too big of a surprise. Fiery Fall might be a consideration sometimes, but this is a lot better in a deck where you're splashing, and I also don't really need it in this kind of deck, just because I have so much removal already, and it's an expensive spell, and I want to be a little bit more lean than that. Huh, okay, not too much in this pack for me. I can take this Dread Drone, but I don't really like that card in this kind of deck. I can take the Rapid Flames for the sideboard, Gutshot, Scuttling Death's not great, so I'll take the Skargan Firebird as kind of a top-end finisher kind of thing, and with 2 Goblin Fireslingers I can pretty easily animate it. Also, I have 2 Dusk Hunter Bats, so that should be nice, and I'll be playing like 17 lands in this deck anyway, just because I have these Innerflame Igniters, and I'll be playing at least 2 of them, so yeah, I'm okay with the Skargan Firebird in this deck. Huh, this one is not a great pack for me. There's really nothing here that I would want to play. There's an Incandescent Soulstoke without really other elementals. I mean, I've got Spite Bellows, but still not really close to worth it. I mean, I've got Innerflame Igniters, but I don't have any of the 2-drop guys. I mean, I can take it. It's better than taking like a Plagued Rusalka, but this card is very unlikely to make my deck. I could also just hate draft a Glinthawk Idol or a Skyreach Manta, cards that are likely to be very good against me. If there was a sideboard card, I'd take it out of this pack, but there's really just nothing for me. So I'll take this card and put in this straight to the sideboard because it's probably not making the cut. Goblin Fireslinger is a great pickup here. I could use a couple more payoff cards for having, or some more basically Bloodthirst cards, but yeah, I'm really hoping to pick up that Gorehorn Minotaurs on the wheel. I'm going to take this Smash to Smithereens. There are some reasonable cards. Bone Splinters is pretty bad in this kind of deck. I don't have too many creatures and I need them to stay alive. And I've already got 23 playables, and this is really 23 pretty solid playables, so I'm happy. I have a bunch of removal already, so I'd much rather take like an A+ out of the sideboard than, for a couple matchups than keep whatever I have in the main deck. So there's also Sickle Slicer, which is a reasonable upgrade over an Inner Flame Igniter in this deck. But yeah, again, I'm happy to take the sideboard card here. This is kind of an interesting pack. It's a really, like, Hearthfire Hobgoblin is a really interesting card in this pack just because of two reasons. Number one, I'm mostly red, but I am going to be playing a decent amount of black sources so I can cast my black spells early, so he's not going to be that easy to cast. And if I play him, then I'm probably playing him over an Inner Flame Igniter, and the only reason why I want him in my deck is because of Inner Flame Igniter. So card's actually going to be pretty bad in my deck. So I don't even think I'm going to take it. I think I'd rather hate a Skyreach Manta than play. Oh, you know what? I'll play this I'll take the Hearthfire Hobgoblin, put it in the sideboard just in case I go into a Bloodshot Trainee, Blades of Velas Veil kind of sideboard strategy. I don't know what just happened to my my sorting, but it's okay. Hearthfire Hobgoblin, you want to be in the sideboard. Gorehorn Minotaurs is a great pickup at this point. Really happy to see something like that. Look at all these one-drop interactive spells. It's great to see. Yeah, so Gorehorn Minotaur is perfect for my deck. I'll play a third if I pick it up. Or was that was the wheel? Okay. Yeah, so I picked it up on the wheel, which is great. That's exactly what I was hoping for, and that's what ended up happening. So I could take this Gut Shot, Apostle's Blessing. Maybe I'll take this Apostle's Blessing. You never know out of the sideboard when you need to protect your creatures or something. Court Hommunculus is not getting past me. That's insane. That made it back. I'll take the Rapid Flames for the sideboard against the green-white deck. And I'll take this Skyreach Mana here. Okay, so this is a Phantom Draft, otherwise they'll Leyline. It's probably worth a few tickets or something like that. So yeah, this probably this Inner Flame Igniter is going to be the last cut, and while I only have 4 4-drops, I have 4 1-drops too, so I'm pretty happy with this deck. I tabled the Gorehorn Minotaurs, and I think being able to play the extra Burst Lightning in the Gorehorn Minotaurs is a really great pickup. I ended up with 15 creatures and 8 removal spells, which is good because these guys, again, they're really classified in my mind as removal spells, and I'm very happy. What is going on? Why are you doing this? Okay, we're back. Yeah, so this deck is kind of sweet. I actually am a pretty big fan of it. One thing that I could consider is cutting a Spite Bellows for a Brute Force. That would be an interesting decision. The only thing is I don't really have too many creatures that'll have trouble attacking past their creatures. So I've got Stormblood Berserker and Duskhunter Bat. All these Fire Slingers don't need to attack past guys. Gorehorn Minotaurs is going to be bigger than anything that my opponents have, and then it's just these Inner Flame Igniters and this Viashino Slaughtermaster and this Vampire Lacerator that'll really benefit from it. So I don't think I want something like that in the deck. And other than that, my other options are Tumble Magnet and Apostle's Blessing. Shrivel out of the sideboard probably. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this deck. It's going to suggest like. Actually, yeah, my exact guess on suggestions is going to be 13-4, but I'm going to play 10-7, I think, because I want a lot of black sources so I can be able to cast these black spells early. I could also play 11-6, but again, if I'm not playing a Vampire Lacerator on turn 1, then what's the point of having it in my deck? So I mean that is an argument to take it out, but I think I'd rather just have the few black spells. So in retrospect, yeah, I probably would have rather had the Overwhelming Stampede than whatever Blood Ogre or whatever I took over it, but I'm not too unhappy about it. I think that was a reasonable decision, whether it was right. What did I say? 13-4. But yeah, I think 10-7 is correct. Could be that 11-6 is better. It could be like 11-6, take out the Vampire Lacerator, bring in another Inner Flame Igniter. Nah, that sounds bad. I don't know. Whatever. We're running it this way, and that could be incorrect. I don't think I want to play this. Is it Boiler Works? It's not too much of a cost, and it'll help me get to my Firebird and Inner Flame Igniter mana, but At the same time, I want to be playing 1-drop into 2-drop into 3-drop into 4-drop, because that's the most likely way I win these games, or like 1-drop into 2-drop into 2-drop plus removal spell, that kind of thing. So I'm pretty happy with this deck. I think I can win some games with it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the first round. Thanks for watching so far. Hey guys, back here for round 1, and apparently people are pretty quick to get back here, and they've really adjusted to the format, because that was really quick. It was like 30 seconds after I finished. I managed to get some people here. So Spite Bellows, can't cast that yet with this hand. 2 Goblin Fire Slingers is a little bit awkward, but anytime I've got 1-drop into 2-drop or whatever, I'm going to be pretty happy to run with that hand. I don't know if this is just going to be annoying or not, so I'm going to get rid of it, and I'll just try and bring cards up when I want to talk about them or actually tell them to you. Or maybe one day figure out how to record my mouse, but today's not that day. Firebird. Alright. So, I have to be very careful here, because talking and playing with Goblin Fire Slinger is going to be quite the experience. Just because my mind is focused on so many different things, so forcing it to be able to both commentate and remember every turn to ping my opponent can be a dangerous little effort, but we'll see what we can do. So him playing Kami of Ancient Law off Plains is really smart, because if he is in the Black-White Spirits deck, he's going to snap this trade off in a heartbeat, and he's going to get the Thief of Hopes down, and I am not going to be in good shape, because he's just going to be able to recur something like Kami of Ancient Law. But with him playing that, he could also be in like green-white tokens, and not care about the Kami of Ancient Law at all. I don't know. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different kind of angles from it. So yeah, there you go. He plays a swamp there. So I think that was a really smart play, even if he had the swamp the whole time, to play the Kami of Ancient Law out like that, just to get me a little bit more enticed to trade. So I'm pretty excited about the little competition that we're going to get here. So Waxmane Baku could be a problem down the road. Oh my god, I had drawn my 3 6-drops. That's really unfortunate, and I'm also getting punished for having all this black mana in my deck. If I was running more red mana, I wouldn't run into this problem where I couldn't even evoke these Spite Bellows. But yeah, that's alright. Thief of Hope. That's interesting that he played them that way. I wonder if he just drew the Thief of Hope. But if I were him, I'd want to start draining me if I'm playing Goblin Fire Slinger. So yeah, to me, Thief of Hope is a much bigger threat than the other guy. But, I mean, I have a billion removal spells, so it shouldn't be too hard to get this dude out of the way. Curious as to what he's thinking about here for 1 black mana. I can't imagine he wanted to tap one of my creatures pre-combat. There's no way I'll ever double block that. Flare Husk. It's a weird card to be playing in Black-White Spirits, even if it's an aggressive slant. Okay. There's a lightning bolt. So now I have to decide if I want to kill the Thief of Hope, which is going to start draining me and being a real pain, but he gets back the Kami of Ancient Law, or the Waxmane Baku. And I think I'm just going to take out the Thief of Hope right here. It could be a mistake, but that thing is bound to die if I'm going to win this game, so the fact that he's able to get a free card out of it is fine. But yeah, I wonder if I actually should have traded the Viashino Slaughtermaster with that Kami of Ancient Law after all. He probably would have sandbagged the Thief of Hope a little while longer, but still, could have been a bad play on my part. So I didn't get, last turn was actually a pretty bad turn for me. I didn't get any closer to casting Scarring Firebird, and I didn't have a chance to get one of these Spite Bellows out of my hands or anything, so all I really did was give him card advantage. There's a Scuttling Death, which is really annoying for me, and this is going to be a problem. This is definitely going to be a problem. If he doesn't kill one of my guys here, I don't know what he's doing. Sweet. I'm pretty happy about that. So I'm just going to evoke the Spite Bellows and kill the Waxmane Baku, and I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Well, I mean, I guess he could just start hitting me for 4. Scuttling Death, and it's not like I can ever kill it. I guess I can just double block, and I guess I don't want to double trade when I have a Skargan Firebird in hand, because I want to be able to ping him and play a Skargan Firebird. That would be very nice. Of course, I'm nowhere near being able to recur that. He hits me for 5 here. Yeah, I'm actually pretty pressured to draw a land right now, which is a little bit annoying. But, well, that's where we are. Another Waxmane Baku and a Kami of Ancient Loss. So that means that regardless of me drawing a land or not, he's going to be able to tap my flyer, which is bad. Well, I guess I can draw a cheap black spell and a land, and play Spite Bellows and the cheap black spell, theoretical cheap black spell. But yeah, I'm just going to play the Skargan Firebird and take 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a lot of damage. I could also just chump the Scuttling Death. I'm not going to F6 just in case he kills my guy at end step or something weird like that. But I do want to try and figure out how I can win this game. It probably... Oh, what? He's going to tap it before it blocks. I think it involves chump blocking the Scuttling Death this turn. So I get him down to 10, and then I have 6 in the air, and I can kill him with a Burst Lightning on either the next 2 draws. So that works for me. If I don't chump block here, then that means that I definitely won't get another turn, whereas this way I can evoke the Spite Bellows next turn, kill a creature, and actually be able to block. Or I can just cast the Spite Bellows and have a pretty good chance of winning, to be honest. I've got 3 Burst Lightnings in my deck, and there are also other chains of draws that let me win. But we'll see what he's got. He could have like a Devouring Greed here and just kill me. I know that at least one of those went around really late. I think 2 actually. So definitely a card that I have to play around and try and outrace. But this is not a good matchup for me. I'm trying to 1-for-1 a lot, and I'm trying to be really aggressive. And my opponent wants to trade early creatures, and he's got life gain in his deck. So it's definitely the toughest matchup for this deck. I'd much rather be playing something like Affinity, where I can bring in 2 Smash to Smithereens and I have a whole bunch of 1-for-1 removal, whereas his cards really need to be together to function well. Oblivion Ring. Well, that makes it pretty tough for me to win this one. From this point. If only I had played this guy. He tried to Oblivion Ring it. That'd be amazing, because I still get to kill one of his creatures. Alright, so that makes it a lot more difficult for me to win, instead of like a 10% chance or whatever I had to win the game, it now becomes like a 0% chance. I don't know if I even physically can win this game anymore. Okay. Not exactly sure why you want to do that, but whatever works for you, buddy. If he's got another land and he can still play that Thief of Hope out, then it's starting to make more sense. Okay, so my best option is to just play out this Spite Bellows, and I'm not actually dead. I am close to dead. Going back to where I traded the Viashino Slaughtermaster for the Kami of Ancient Law, it's reasonable for me to not do that because I can end up drawing into Inner Flame Igniters. I've got 2 of them in the deck, and then once I do that, then my opponent won't be able to actually kill my creature with it. So that is a reasonable path to victory kind of thing. You got your Thief of Hope, you can tap my creature down. So I actually was down on board, so showing him Spite Bellows is pretty bad. But that's okay. So what can we do against this guy? None of these cards seem very good at disrupting what he's doing. Yeah, I'm just gonna submit and hope I get a more aggressive draw, or I'm on the play or something like that. I think no, maybe I was on the play last time too. So this hand is okay. It's actually a little weak. I've got, well, I'll keep it. I mean, I've got a Burst Lightning and a Dismember. And I can just get on the board with Dusthunter Bat. I've also got a Spite Bellows as early removal. Problem is that my 1-for-1 removal spells are pretty bad against his deck. So that's more of just a flaw with the deck matchup, though. So I could have tried to mulligan to try and get a 1-drop into a Dusthunter Bat or a Stormblood Berserker, but I just don't think that that's a very likely option. So getting the hand that is going to be solid and will function regardless is probably a better course of action for me. Alright, cannot cast that card yet. Obviously leading with Mountain, in case he plays like a Plagued Rusalka here, I'll probably just snap it off. And I mean, he'll get it back eventually, but it might take him long enough that it'll be worth doing. And if he doesn't draw his specific Soul Shift cards, then he might be in trouble. You never know how many of those he's playing in his deck. But I'm really not psyched about this specific matchup, which is interesting, and I haven't really thought out too much which decks beat which other decks, but this red-black deck is definitely going to be, this red-black deck filled with 1-for-1 removal is definitely going to be struggling against the value-filled deck that gains life. Okay, there's another Swamp, which is a bad draw here. I'm kind of priced into playing this Dusthunter Bat here, just in case I draw a Blood Ogre next turn, or a Gohorn Minotaurs and a Mountain or something like that. Now that I mean, when I did my calculation for mana sources, I saw a couple of double reds on 2, but I forgot about the Spite Bellows being double red, so maybe it would have been smarter to go kind of 10-6 instead. Though, if it was 10 or 11-6, if it was 11-6 and I had Mountain in my opening hand, then I would have had to mulligan it. So that's also kind of the reverse, but is interesting in itself. This is a really bad opening if I don't draw into a Bloodthirsty card, but if I don't draw into a cheap creature and then it would be really bad to just be holding this Dusk Hunter bat and not doing anything. Well, that was a good draw. It may not be a strong 3-drop that I can play, but it is still a solid 2-drop. Is he going to play like a nameless inversion on my guy? That would be quite annoying here. And definitely troublesome to my long-term plan of winning this game. Or my short-term plan of winning this game. Not exactly sure what my opponent's doing here, but if he keeps taking this long, then I may win on time. Alright. Definitely making me nervous with that white and black mana up. So last game, now that I'm thinking about it, I wasn't actually dead on board. I could have just evoked the Spite Bellows and killed his Waxmane Baku, but I don't think that there's a card in my deck that saves me the turn after. So probably there was no reason to even show him either. But it kind of means that he'll play around Spite Bellows more than he would have. I don't really know how you play around just a 6 damage removal spell, but you never know. Obviously important to play Dusk Hunter Bat off black to leave Burst Lightning up. You never know if I'll want to cast it at this point. It's not too relevant to be casting Burst Lightning. Well, actually, now that I think about it, it sort of is. Just because if I draw a mountain, then my red mana is going to be pretty taxed. So I'll want to be using it as efficiently as possible. So my opponent not hitting a 3rd land drop is obviously a godsend, if that is what happened. Or maybe he's just going to play it in the 2nd main phase for funsies. Who knows? There we go. Okay, he did it. But hopefully it's like a Thief of Hope, so I could just snap that off without him getting too much value off it. What does the Spite Bellows look like? I'm actually a little bit disappointed that I asked that question. Okay. Well, once I draw my mountain, that'll be a sweet draw. Not really sure where my opponent's going with this hand that he kept that didn't have a 1-drop, 2-drop, or a 3-drop in a Spirits deck, but look, I'm not complaining. Definitely an awkward draw on my part, though. So, after this game, I have to decide. Probably for game 3, I want to take out Vampire Lacerator and a Swamp and add in a Mountain and some other spell. Just because I'm recognizing how awkward my mana base really is with all these double red spells and only 10 mountains, which is a lot of mountains, but 11 would be better. So I'm thinking of doing that in all the post-sideboard games in the rest of this draft. I have to decide if that's actually the correct thing to do, or if it's kind of just a, man, I really could have used double red in the first 2 games and I didn't draw it kind of thing. But when I was going into it, you guys definitely heard me. There's proof it happened that I was already thinking about it back then. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure where to go, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. There might not even be a game 3. Although it's looking solid, it's looking like a good start for me. Interestingly enough, Dismember is actually just a really good card in this matchup, or in my deck, because I actually have black mana to cast it with. This is really frustrating. If I'm not too lazy, I'll just edit out all the in between where my opponent is doing something. Never know what, but So, as always is interesting in a game of Magic, the thing that you want to be doing is trying figuring out what your role is going to be and what you're going to do to win the game and how it's going to happen. Because if you're not really deciding on how you're going to win the game, then it's a lot less likely that your plan is going to work out because you don't have much of a plan. So this game, the plan is really just to keep pecking away in the air, and hopefully that'll be enough. If he ever ends up dealing with one of my flyers, then it's really going to result around me getting a Gorehorn Minotaurs into play, or some other big creature like a Skargan Firebird if I ever get to that much mana. And to buy me the time, I'm going to use my removal spells and Spite Follows, Burst Lightning, Dismember to get there. And it's not going to be a game where I'm just going to be able to out-attrition him and just win with a 2/2 or something like that, because my opponent's playing this Black-White Spirits deck that has all this redundancy and all this card advantage, so I'm not going to be able to out-card advantage him no matter what. So I'm really going to have to win through the air or win via tempo. So missing these land drops missing this land drop here is actually really bad for me, because it means that my opponent or that I'm basically giving up speed and efficiency, and that's really the number one thing that I need to go in my favor if I want to win this game. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now is why I'm in such a bad position here. Despite the fact that I have 3 power on board, I've got 2 removal spells in hand, and my opponent hasn't cast a card yet. Hopefully that made sense. You never know with these kind of things. Sometimes I just ramble and I don't even know what I'm talking about. Alright, so it looks like he's going to tap his mana. Nope. He decided against it. He decided, you know what? I am not going to beat these bats. I'm just going to lose this game. Some cute little flying bat. These are not cute at all. What is the deal with its tail thing? Is there like a dragon in its leg? That's weird, man. I'm not a fan of that. I don't know why I keep looking at the art for my evil red-black deck. What about this one? This one can't be evil. It's just a mountain getting struck by lightning. I think that's a mountain, at least. I don't know. And this guy's pretty cool. He's just like a nice little phoenix flying around with a burning tail over a nice little city, lighting it on fire. Just think of the little peasant boy who worked all day in the field and finally coming home. He's got a nice little roll of bread, and that's all he's doing. He's just going to eat his little roll of bread. Okay, you got a shrivel, buddy. And then he's got double shrivel. Alright. That's okay. I mean, it's not really insane against me, shrivel, but it's pretty good here. Considering I have no pressure. So now my plan A of just pecking away with bats is over, and that's never going to happen. I can't out-attrition him, and I don't have anything on board to make a giant Gorehorn Minotaur, so everything is going terribly. I hope he plays like a Scuttling Death here, so that I could actually just trade for it. Waxmane Baku's fine. I mean, to be honest, I'm just going to time my opponent out at this rate, because he is playing at a glacial pace. And it doesn't really seem like he's double queuing. Usually when your opponent's double queuing, which is just fancy lingo speak for when your opponent is playing 2 rounds of Magic at the same time, it means that he is going to spend a lot of time waiting, and then he'll play fast and quickly in another spurt. But it seems like my opponent's really, really lagging or doing something else, watching TV, something like that kind of thing. But now he's finally playing out his Plagued Rusalka, and Shrivel is kind of an interesting sideboard card against my deck. It's not bad. I have a bunch of X1s, and he saw a lot in the first match with multiple Fire Slingers. Let me just kill this thing right now. I wanted to use Burst Lightning over Dismember because I have a redundant Burst Lightning in hand, and Dismember can kill a bigger threat if he's got one. So that should be nice. But yeah, Plagued Rusalka, I mean, it's good against my deck, but I'll hold off on killing it for now. Oh, there's another Plague Rusalka. Sure, okay. Right, so it'd be nice if he could pass the turn, but it's unlikely to happen. Alright. This is an interesting situation. So I could try and play this out now. It'll just trade with a Plague Rusalka though. If I draw another mountain, then I have this nice play of being able to Burst Lightning him, then play Stormblood Berserker out outside of the range of one of these Rusalkas, and then I can get the Gorgon Minotaurs online. So I think I'm going to hold on to it right now and be really disappointed that I don't have another mountain. Because if I did, then I would make that play this turn. But trading a Stormblood Berserker for a Plague Rusalka, or worse if he plays a Thief of Hope or a Moonlit Strider, then it's basically trading it for nothing. Or I guess a Moonlit Strider, because a Thief of Hope wouldn't be able to get back the Waxmane Baku. I'm still at 20 life, so I don't need to worry about these guys too much, but if the game goes on a significant period of time longer, then I could be in bad shape and have to kill one or both of them, which is, again, really annoying to kill those early creatures against the deck with Soul Shift that can just rebuy them pretty easily. So now I'm definitely looking to find myself a mountain. Another double red card. So essentially I've got this card, which I can't play until I have another thing out, so it's kind of a double red card. This is double red. This card I can only play as one red or five in a red, and then another double red card. So I've got all these double red stuff that I can't do anything with, and it feels really horrible. So I think I'm going to kill the Kami of Ancient Law. Not 100% sure. I might have a better option. No, I'm going to kill it here just because I need to be drawing this stuff soon, so I'm hoping that I'll just draw it next turn. The mountain, that is. That's a killer. Alright, I mean, Swamp isn't the worst draw. I still need to draw another land to get to Skargan Firebird eventually, but that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see mountains. If I miss another turn and I just have nothing to play, then at that point I'm going to start playing something like Stormblood Berserker out. Honestly, hard casting these Spite Bellows might be really good for me, just getting 2-for-1s off them, because since I'm so much... Alright, there we go, we got the mountain. So now I have a couple options. So I could just play the Gorhorn Minotaurs out as a 3-3, and then I don't have to burn the Burst Lightning. I think I like that a little bit better, actually. It might just die here, but that's okay. Because once we get to 6 mana, then we can really start playing our spells. But there should not go a... and also, this plays really bad because he's got 3 cards in hand. He didn't play anything last turn. There's a good chance he's holding something like Nameless Inversion. And he can just get a free kill off it, and then I get 2-for-1. And if I can get in with this Gorhorn Minotaurs, then I'm in much better shape. Because then I can kind of get the Stormblood Berserker out for free. Oblivion Ring. Okay. So now I want to draw a land so I can just cast Spite Bellows, because on this board it's just a 2-for-1. Even though he's got 2 1-mana 1/1s, I'm happy to play my 6-mana 6/1, which sounds like an absurd notion, but it's actually true. So I can draw a land. I'm happier if it's a mountain so that I can start doing Skargan Fireburn shenaniganry, but I'm fine if it's just a plain, or if it's just a swamp. Sweet. Okay. So after being very mean to me for a while, my deck has has remembered me, and I'm happy. We can be friends again. So he's holding 3 cards in hand here. Really curious what they are that he's not playing and committing more to the board. It's probably just removal, but if it's just removal, then Spite Bellows is exactly what I want to be doing. He might just sacrifice both Plagued Rusalkas to kill it right now. Whatever, or he sacrifices one and then the other one dies, just so that he can actually start playing other spells out. But unhappy for him, he's only got 3 minutes left to beat through a Spite Bellows. Another Spite Bellows, and then all these 4 spells in hand he has to deal with. So it looks like I'm going to get the most unfair victory in the history of Magic. I don't know. There's not really much that I can do about this. It just kind of sucks. Yeah, you got it, buddy. Nameless Inversion. Who knew that I would be the one who is outvaluing the Black-White Spirits deck? So far, we've played a bunch of 1-for-1s. I guess we're even on lands now. He's got 4 spells to my 4 spells. But, yeah, I drew Spite Bellows, which I've never seen it be this good. Oh, wow, that was really bad play. I completely forgot that he's only got 1 card on the battlefield right now. And now my Spite Bellows is just going to trade 1 for 1. Oops. I wasn't even thinking. I should have played the Skargan Firebird there. Because now we can just 1 for 1. I still have 2 Burst Lightning, so it's not like he's going to kill me in time, but that was actually just really bad play. I mean, there's like a little bit of value in me blocking for this 1 damage, but it saves him a mana if he's got a 6 mana spell that he wants to play, but he can't play anything until he makes this exchange. So, I mean, I had a good feeling that was going to happen, but you never know when your opponent's going to make a mistake or something like that. Alright, so he's got that thing out. It's actually a little scary. So he can't actually kill me next turn. Unless he's got... No, I don't think he can kill me next turn. But I'm happy to just chump block there because I can Burst Lightning him and get it back. If I draw a land, I can Burst Lightning him for 4 and get this back, which is pretty sweet. And then it comes back with counters on it. Oh, it goes back to your hand? I thought this card was a lot better than it was. I could have killed this last turn once. Yeah, whatever. I don't know why he's playing that pre-combat. It's actually a really bad play for him because now if he attacks I can just block, and then if he pumps then I can Burst Lightning. But he's gonna run out of time. I mean, I think I was very disadvantaged in the matchup, and I don't think that I should have won this match, but sometimes you just win matches that you shouldn't win. So, yeah, Bone Splinters is pretty good in his deck. That really sucks, but, yeah, I mean, I'll be back for the next round, I guess. Hey guys, back for round number 2. Got lucky enough to win round number 1, not because of skill, just literal luck. My opponent did not play Magic. I have a pretty solid hand. One reason why Dusk Hunter Bat really just makes this deck tick is because it's a good payoff card in being a 2/2 flyer for 2 mana, and it's a great enabler in being an evasive cheap threat. So I'm always happy to play a Dusk Hunter Bat in these kind of decks. And when I say a Dusk Hunter Bat, I mean like 7 Dusk Hunter Bats. There's very little limit to what I would be happy playing. So him playing Aquastrand Spider is actually a little bit awkward. It means that I'm going to play the Viashino Slaughtermaster instead. If he just holds back with this and doesn't necessarily have a play, then I don't get to attack with my Dusk Hunter Bat anyway. So there's a Mortar Pod, which is bad for me. Okay, so this is super awkward. If I play the Dusk Hunter Bat, it can just get shot down by the Mortar Pod or blocked. He can't really afford to. Yeah, he can't really afford to use another creature to shoot down the Dusk Hunter Bat. If he plays land, Nest Invader equips Mortar Pod to the Eldrazi spawn, that'll be awkward. But yeah, I'm gonna play this Dusk Hunter Bat unthirsted. Because if he plays the equips the Mortar Pod here, then I'm still brick walled by it anyway. If I play Blood Ogre, so I think this is the correct play. I might this is gonna die eventually, but if it okay, so he had another force in hand. That makes it a lot worse because he's gonna attack with that thing anyway. I can't imagine how that's the correct play, but he's in bad shape regardless of what he does because he's severely outcarded because he mulliganed to 5 on the play. Alright, so that would have been a great draw regardless. I would have been able to just shoot down the Aquastrand Spider and get in, still play a Blood Ogre. So, we're good. We're good here, guys. We got ourselves a nice little Blood Ogre. He's down to 1 card in hand. He can have a removal spell, but then I've got another Blood Ogre, and he can hit me for 5, but I'm still at 11, which is a reasonable life total to be stabilized against a deck with no cards in hand. And not too formidable of a board either. Alright, so he's got Mortar Pod equipped to the Spider, which is fine. I mean, honestly, I don't have a great attack. Yeah, I really don't have a great attack here, because if I attack with just the Minotaur, maybe I just actually attack with both, because the Dusk Hunter Bat loses a lot of value on this kind of board. So if he just blocks here, then he's not double blocking. But if he does double block here, yeah, let's do that. Let's attack with both. He can double block here, and then I get to just trade with the Gnarly Pack, is fine. And then I get in the 1 damage, and I can play my other Gorehorn Minotaurs. Or he just chump blocks here and then takes 5, and then I still get to play my other Gorehorn Minotaurs. So this is good for me. Actually, the play that he should probably make is just chump block the Gorehorn Minotaurs and shoot down the flyer. And I'm not sure what I'd do if he does that. Okay, well, he's not going to make that play. When I say that's the play he should make, I'm not actually sure that that's true. Whoa. Okay. What you got? Oh, he's just going to sacrifice to kill here. It's the same as, essentially the same play. So my Gorehorn Minotaurs is going to die here, so I'm just going to play this Blood Ogre and pass turn. Alright, so yeah, his play was just way better than anything that I thought. I should have just, I don't know. That's actually a pretty unfortunate drop for me. This game is not going as well as I had hoped, huh? Well, I'm just going to attack and trade it for a lightning bolt, but, yeah. But I don't get any damage in this turn, so that's really unfortunate for me, and I'm just going to pass because I think that getting a 5/5 on this board is going to be really relevant, and he's pretty unlikely to be able to play something to block my Blood Ogre with just one card in hand. Though he does have this Mortar Pod. Okay, well that's not too bad for me. He can trade here, but if he does, then I'm okay playing a 3/3, I suppose. I think he probably should trade. I don't know. It's hard for him to tell what I have. Either way, I'm in good shape now. So I wonder, I do want to kind of go back and figure out what I should be doing in that situation. Gorehorn Minotaurs could just attack on its own and trade for the Gnarlid Pack, which is what happened anyway, and then Duskhunter Bat is still brick-walled. But it's not dead, I suppose. Yeah, that's probably better. Alright, well, we're just going to be attacking here. He could have something like Fortify and just eat my Lacerator, but that's not really a big deal. Or he could trade for my... I mean, he actually could trade for my guy. After first strike combat damage, he can just sacrifice to kill my Blood Ogre, which is fine. Wait, no, after first strike combat damage, he's dead. Never mind. He cannot do that. I'm not really sure what his plan is, but he obviously has a pump spell. He could have like a Fortify on the backside. Mutagenic Growth, sure. Actually, just forget that that card's in the set. I don't think I really ever play against it. Drawing these lands is actually pretty bad for me because my opponent's essentially caught up on card advantage. Well. Playing Rampant Growth, I guess not. That's weird. My opponent is playing a 4-color deck, but he's really, I mean, his cards are really symbolic of a green-white Fortify deck. So now he's just going to trade with the Vampire Lacerator because he kind of has to if he wants to win this game. Can't take 7 damage here, and he can't just chump the Gorehorn Minotaurs. But he's in a losing position. I'm really not too impressed with the cards that my opponent played, but I think that he made all the right plays. I don't think that there was a turn where I really felt like he made a huge mistake. Well, that's a good draw. It kind of allows him to completely wall my Gorehorn Minotaurs. I still can get it in the air for 2 damage, but it's not great for me. And he can start cracking back with the Guildmage too. He's got 7 mana, so if he draws 1 more, then he can go above my Minotaurs, right? Which is bad. He can also equip Mortar Pod here, then make a guy chump block my guy, kill my flyer eventually. But it has to be on his turn, so it actually would be quick enough though to buy him another turn. Draw out of it. No. I will just do this. No, I won't. I'm going to attack first, just because I don't know what kind of cards he's playing. I want him to tap as low as possible before I kill him. I mean, I don't actually really need to kill him with it. I could hold on to it. There's no point in giving up any edge at this point in the game. I'm so close to winning that I don't care if my opponent is upset that I'm holding a card in hand. Like, I don't care in real life, I don't care now. So now that he tapped out of Sylvan Bounty and he tapped out of counter mana, I can just do this. But, I mean, his deck is definitely, he's playing 4 colors. He could be playing that life gain spell, or he could be playing Remand, or he could be playing Mana Leak. So, well, Remand doesn't really matter, but he could be playing Mana Leak. So, it definitely makes sense for me to hold the card there. Alright, so, opponent's playing Mortar Pod, but just one card isn't enough to bring in this. I think it's pretty safe to say that Wrap in Flames and Shrivel might want to come in. Maybe not Shrivel, just because it really kind of does hose me as well. I think I want to bring in this Wrap of Flames, though. I'm going to take this out, take out a swamp, add in a mountain. Maybe for the play I'll bring back in the Lacerator, but he's too weak on the draw, and I don't even know if I'm going to be the aggressor in this matchup, though I probably will be. Well, that's not a keep. This is an amazing hand. I've got one of my 6 swamps for the turn 2 Duskhunter Bat. I've got a turn 1 Goblin Fireslinger, and I have 4 mana, or well, now I have 4 mana for a Gorehorn Minotaur. So yeah, that's insane. This is exactly what I want to be doing against this exact opponent who's just playing Rampant Growths and not doing too much. But if he plays like a turn 4, well, actually, if he plays a turn 4, no, he can't play a turn, yeah, whatever. If he plays a stupid flyer Skyreach Manta Guide, then that'll be kind of annoying for me. Still hoping to draw Blood Ogre, but if I can catch something with the Spite Bellows here, that would be pretty useful. Then I'll probably just do that. If not, then I will just attack for 2 in the air and pass the turn. Because even though it would be nice to play Spite Bellows, I'm obviously not going to kill a Germ Token with it. He might have Raise the Alarm here. I'm pretty sure that that's a card that he's playing in his deck. I don't know. I mean, I guess he didn't have it. Oh, he played Rampant Growth on turn 2, and that was turn 3. So is this time for good old Skyreach the Manta? Nope. Alright. So he's got 5 mana and 3 cards in hand. I'm not really sure what he's holding, but I am going to play my Gorehorn Minotaurs out. He's got to have something. He's got 4 colors of mana, 5 cards in hand. It's just like a Scatter the Seeds. It's a Scatter the Seeds. So after this start, I'm more willing to bring in Shrivel, even though I have Fireslinger in deck and Viashino, whatever guy. And taking out something like Spite Bellows is pretty reasonable. Okay, so I'm gonna block because I'm gonna die. Alright, maybe I shouldn't have blocked last turn, because that means that I can't hold back the Duskhunter Bat this turn. But yeah, Spite Bellows against this deck doesn't seem nearly as good. The reason why I'm blocking the green ones is because the green is more likely to have, well, I guess it doesn't really matter because he's got green, but whatever. Alright. So I could... He's got 3 creatures, so I kind of want to play around... Okay, so yeah, I attack here with my Duskhunter Bat and leave this guy back to block. If he goes for a Fortify, then I can kill one of his creatures in response, and then I can Burst Lightning end a turn. Then next turn untap, attacking for 2, Burst Lightning, kill him. So that is currently my plan. My opponent's only got 1 card in hand. He's going to have a significant amount to beat this plan. I mean, he kind of just needs to play anything that can deal with this next turn, but it seems unlikely that he can. So if he plays Fortify or something here, then he's going to have to attack all out and expect that to be the clincher, and I'll be able to Burst Lightning in response and kill one of his creatures. I hope he plays whatever card he's got in hand, because then I will definitely be able to know that I win the game. He's got a weird little deck there. He's playing Simic Initiate, Vapor Snag, Scout of the Seas, Raise Alarm, and Rampant Growth in 4 colors. Okay, so that is just game. You can do this in a number of ways, but he's out of cards, he's all tapped out. Just kill his creature. Attack in with these guys. Shoot him to death. Burst Lightnings, man. Card's great. Alright, won the match. That one was a lot easier and more simple than the previous one. I think that my opponent was not necessarily... I don't know if he was bad, but he had a weird deck. It sort of seemed like kind of a train wreck where he was going for green-white, and then he just did not hit his playable count, and he had to really scrounge through the dregs to build a little deck there. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the finals. Hey guys, here for the finals. Hopefully I'll win this one. I think my deck's pretty good. I didn't get a great draw in either of the first 2 games. This hand, not so much. It's got one of those situations where the only thing that I want to draw is mountains and spells, but I don't have double red. I don't have a really good start. I think it's a pretty safe mulligan. Usually, I mean, the most basic thing is just to see, okay, I've got 4 lands and I've got 3 spells. This is a great hand. This is a removal spell. This is a good top end. This is an okay thing to play at the beginning. But I really want to be curving out, and I want to be doing good things in the early parts of the game. I want good, cheap early removal. So I'm going to mulligan this hand, and regardless of the outcome, I don't think I'm going to be too unhappy. So this hand is a lot better. I'm on the play, which means that my opponent's unlikely to be doing something to stop this Vampire Lacerator, especially considering I'm the one who took 3 Burst Lightnings and a Lightning Bolt. And I can play, obviously, Lacerator into Duskhunter Bat. The problem is I have a lot of really bad draws with this hand. Any card that's double red, which off the top of my head, I can think of 5 cards in my deck that are double red, is really bad. And red spells are bad until I draw a red mana. Then once I finally do draw the mountain, this Goblin Fireslinger is probably going to be pretty low impact. So yeah, definitely a lot of downsides to this hand. Plus, Vampire Lacerator, while it's best on turn 1, it does mean that I'll be taking a significant amount of damage. So if my opponent's also an aggressive, say, Affinity deck or something like that, then I could be in some trouble. But we'll see what he's got. Forest and nothing. Which means that I get a nice little start here. Ooh, that's a pretty sweet draw. I'll have to be a little bit more, well, now that I think about it, I'm probably just going to be very aggressive with it, because I just want to get in as much damage as early as possible so that I can burn him out with Fire Slingers and Burst Lightnings and Lightning Bolts. Once I do draw my red mana, which should happen eventually. So if I can use this Dismember to 1-for-1 and give me some tempo advantage, and that'll be pretty sweet. So if I draw a Mountain next turn, and he plays like a 3-drop or a 4-drop next turn, because I doubt he's going to play a 2-drop here. It probably is what he's considering, whether he wants to play a 2-drop creature if he's got one, or use the Wayfarer's Bauble. The other thing that he could be considering is whether he wants to play a tap land or the Wayfarer's Bauble. Okay, so he's got what looks to be a removal spell for my my Dusk Hunter Bat, which kind of sucks. Nope, nothing. Alright, let's ship the turn back. So he's going to be the green-red 5-color deck. I'm going to expect a Banefire out of him somewhere, because I didn't take it, and I haven't seen a red deck yet, and this is the deck that wants that card the most. So there's that Tribal Flames that he was considering casting last turn, but decided against it. And I was also right that he had the Bounce Land, but alright. So I'm still really in the market to draw mountains here. Or double red cards. I don't mind either. They're both okay with me. But yeah, so that was definitely the downside of this hand. If I start drawing red spells and I don't have mountains. Did draw a Dismember, which is really nice, but we're starting to get to the point of the game where I could be in really bad shape. So he's probably going to play a 5-drop creature here, and I'm probably just going to kill it with Dismember, which is nice. Yeah, I'm just going to... Well, the only thing that punishes me for not killing it here is Dusk Hunter Bat. There's really no reason for me to not play this, because I have to do it. It wouldn't be a bad draw if I had a mountain out there. Well, it probably would still be pretty bad. At least the Vampire Lacerator is going to stop killing me. This card is just a 3-mana 2/2 against me. It's pretty funny. Alright, let's keep this plan up. And, I mean, there's a chance that I could burn him out. You never know. He's got a lot of cards in hand. But if his best play last turn was really full, I mean, yeah, I mean, Alloy Mirror I can attack straight into. And if I start drawing mountains at some point, then I I can get Spite Bellows online. I can get Skargan Firebird down the road. I can warp. Okay. It's a little weird that he waited until my turn to do that, but I guess it doesn't really matter. And there's a Palaka. So is it worth showing him my second color at this point? He's pretty confident of what color I'm in, but there really is no way that I can win this game. Well, I'm not going to concede. I'm just going to pass the turn, because I'll probably get to see another card from him. There's an Ulomox Crusher. Okay. You got me. So I've seen Alymir, Wayfarer's Bauble. It's pretty reasonable to suggest... I'm going to keep the Lacerator. It's pretty reasonable to suggest that a Smash to Smithereens would be a good card to bring in. Tumble Magnet might work too. Like Inner Flame Igniter, probably not the best here. I'll bring in this Smash. It wasn't great against the cards that he played. It's just going to be better against the cards that I expect him to have. And I know that Skyreach Mantas were going around late, even though I did take this one. Not enough that I want to bring in multiple, and I think it's a little better than Tumble Magnet, even though I did see Ulomox Crusher. I want to be killing him before we get to Ulomox Crusher range, and I really like the Lacerator on the play against this guy, so I'm not going to quite get rid of that. But yeah, I think that my deck is definitely okay against his. As long as I get a decent draw, I can have a good chance to win. So this is not a decent draw. And I feel like I've been getting unproportionately bad draws. As a mold of 6, I'm going to keep it, but I think that this hand is pretty terrible. The reason why I'm keeping it is because I have 2 turns to draw a mountain, and if I do, then I have a pretty high likelihood of being able to win the game. If I draw a mountain here, ooh. And I can still play this Goblin Fireslinger, and I can still get Dusk Hunter Bat online in the air as a 2/2, which should be advantageous to me. I could have also just played Dusk Hunter Bat and Lacerator, but I think that's a little worse. Well, maybe that's not worse. I don't know. Okay, so this is a really interesting decision point. I could play Inner Flame Igniter and Vampire Lacerator or Dusk Hunter Bat here. I think I'm going to play these two just because of mana efficiency, because when you're really unsure of what to do, the more mana efficient play is usually the better play, and I think that it's really close either way. This play is just so much better if I draw 1 land next turn, because then I can still activate the Inner Flame Igniter and play the Dusk Hunter Bat. So I'll be bottlenecked on mana, but that'll give me an efficient outlet. Plus, just getting the igniter online is pretty sweet when I can get the Blood Ogre past a 4-power creature next turn, because first strike plus pumps are pretty sweet. Did I not use this guy? Damn it. That was really bad. So I'm just going to attack with this. If I attack with this, it's just going to trade for the Gust Skimmer and make his Algae Gharial bigger. So that's not really going to benefit me much. Okay, and I'm not going to forget the Goblin Fireslinger ever again. I need to really focus, though. Sorry about that. It's really just, I mean, it's stupid to blame stuff, but it's just because I'm commentating. That's the only reason why I never make those mistakes. Okay, this is a really interesting spot. Okay, I was just about to say it would be very interesting if he was going to tap red and blue mana and not tap the Growth Chamber, because then, well, I guess he's not doing anything anyway. Okay, let's keep going. Charging in with Blood Ogre. This is a really interesting thing. So, like, he could have a repeal here, and if he does, then it would be horrible for me to pump again. But the 1 damage could be really relevant. I'm gonna play around repeal, though, because I feel like he could do something better. There we go. Look at us. Look at us go. So since we have the Fireslinger, we were still able to get some damage through, so we can get this guy back up to a 3/3. And I think that was a really solid turn. Could have been a lot worse, but we got the nice play. Pat ourselves on the back after our opponent pats us on the back too. But if you're curious about the reason why I played around it there, is just because I noticed that my opponent had 4 mana up. He had done something small with 2 mana that he didn't necessarily need to do last turn, and he's still got these 5 cards in hand, and he's got all the colors that he needs. He's not playing white, I don't think. So it was a safe bet that he had a play to do, so that's why. And pushing through the 1 extra damage would be nice, but it's not necessarily completely needed. So he's got 1 in black here. Is this going to be a Nameless Inversion or an Agony Warp? That's really bad for me, because that was my #1 threat that was able to kind of get in on this board. And it may be time for me to just send in these 2 guys, trade off the Gust Skimmer, and then get in 4 damage with the Lacerator. He's only got 3 mana up. Let's see what we draw here. Obviously, if I draw something that I can play, then I'll play it instead of doing that. The problem with that is it makes this guy a 5-drop. Well, okay, let's do that. Alright, so this game is obviously not going that well, considering he's at 4, 5, 6, 7, so he's 1 green mana away from casting a Block Worm, which would be an absolute nightmare here. Oh, there's the green mana, and there's the Block Worm. Okay. Well, that's going to be tough to beat. It's going to require a, well, it's not the worst possible way to beat it. I think I just cast it though. So what are my options here? If I just attack with Blood Ogre, then he just blocks with that, and I can evoke it and kill that, but then this thing becomes a 6/6. Becomes very unmanageable very quickly. Other options are to attack with everything. He's just going to trade off here and I'll get in 2 damage. That's not going to do me any good either. I could hold off until I can activate this 3 times, but that's not really going to help me. Yeah, I'm just going to cast this thing. And then this way, next turn I can, well, because I can't really get through next turn either. But I think I'm very, very low chance to win this game after he resolves 1 Block Worm, which is a little bit insane. But playing Spike Bellows means that he can't actually attack me with Block Worm unless he just wants to trade, which he very well might. I mean, he gets 2 counters on the Gharial and he gets to draw a card. So that would be kind of sweet for him. Unfortunately, since this is a sorcery, there's no way that I can use like a lightning bolt to combination take out that. So like if I had drawn lightning bolt, then I could have, or even burst lightning, then I get to attack into this and either pump once here or lightning bolt Block Worm first, and you know, get around it that way. But my opponent had a nice enough draw and some good enough ways to slow me down, as well as a ramp spell, that he was able to get to this Block Worm, even though it was turn 7. By the time he played it, he still had plenty of life left. He was playing the Gharial really actually slowed me down quite a bit. Yeah, I was thinking that he would attack here. I think I actually just take it. Do I take it? So what happens if I take it and he plays something big that I can't remove next turn? Well, what if I can remove something next turn? Then he just gets to eat something with the Gharial and I die on the crackback? Well, no, I can chump block there, so I'll max take 9. The problem is that this is my real last chance to actually block, and trade and survive. I think I just have to take it. Hope he doesn't have anything too good. Oh, I forgot that I was going to take an extra damage there. Alright, so what if I attack with everything? He obviously trades there. Is he priced into blocking this too? Yeah, he kind of is. Unless he's got something. I don't think that I can really play around anything here, though. So I'm just going to attack with the team. And we'll see what happens. Normally you don't want to attack with Fire Slinger, but since I'm going to be pumping my team, kind of have to. So I expect this to trade here, this to eat that, or to trade here, and then him to take 5, 9, 12, and then he kind of has to hold back with the Block Worm. But if he's got an instant speed removal spell, then it's pretty unlikely that I win. Could also have like a Banefire in hand and just have me dead next turn anyway. So if he doesn't block here with the Gharial, then that means that I have to only pump once so I can play the Fire Slinger. Kind of. It also kind of means that I'm just dead, because if he doesn't play the pump spell, then I'll play the blocker, and then he'll just remove it. Okay, so he's killing the Fire Slinger. Interesting. Uh-huh. So this might kind of be a trap. I think it's a trap. 7, 10. So yeah, I mean, I can hit him down to 2 if I pump again. But if he has an instant speed removal spell, then I lose on the spot. And it's so tempting for me to pump again. So what happens if I don't pump again and well, I just don't think I'm beating an instant speed removal spell anyway. So yeah, because if I don't pump again and he kills my guy, or he doesn't kill my, yeah, I lose to an instant speed removal spell regardless. Any instant speed removal spell. I'm sure he's got one. I'm like 98% sure, but I'm only like 3% chance to win. I'm only 2% chance to win this game anyway, and this is the way to do it. So he's got 3 cards in hand. He's got a billion lands out. He's got every color the eye can see. And he made a block that didn't make any sense unless he was trying to bait me into to pumping. I just don't have any other options. Which is unfortunate, but you know, it happens. Either way, his deck is not insane or anything. I mean, he's playing Telling Time and Agony Warp and full 4-color kind of thing. He only played 1 fixer and a couple of bounce lands this game. He's playing Gust Skimmer and even Algae Gharial, which it kind of warped this entire game, but I'm still not 100% convinced it's great in a deck that's not really taking advantage of Eldrazi spawn tokens. But at the same time, he definitely had a good matchup against me, and game 1 I kind of stumbled, but this one I had a pretty good draw and he was able to nullify it, neutralize it, any other kind of word. So there's whoa, that actually does not kill me. Oh, it does kill me. That's kind of funny, because he's gonna, when that dies, he gets to put a counter on the Gharial. So if I target this, then I die because I'm at 9, because I lost that 1 life because of the Lacerator because I forgot to pump. That's kind of shitty, but I don't think it really matters. Either way, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I could have won that game, maybe. Well, so like, what happens if he has repeal? Then he can repeal like his Gust Skimmer. No, he can repeal like the Fire Slinger. What if he repeals the Fire Slinger? I mean, I'm dead here. So what if he repeals the Fire Slinger, and then yeah, I still die. So that was, oh yeah, that was just kind of fancy play silliness. It didn't really matter because I couldn't have anything, but either way. Hey, I want to see my next card. I hate how it does that. I want to see my next card. Another Spite Bellows. So if I had taken the other line where I block the Palacorum the turn before, then I'm more likely to kind of get buried in card advantage, and I can't get through this Algae Gharial, but it gives me a lot more draws. But I just don't think that I have any reasonable way to beat that kind of thing. I guess if I draw another Spite Bellows, that's pretty good, or the second Fire Slinger is pretty good, and if he kind of bricks off for a little while, then I get some chance to win with an Inner Flame Igniter combo kill sort of thing. So that was an interesting game. I don't attack with the Fire Slinger there, does that really help me? Maybe. Maybe if I don't attack with the Fire Slinger... Well, no, he just repeals the Fire Slinger and I lose. Okay. Either way, good games. I don't know if he's still in the match, but that was an exciting little draft there. Didn't really end up going my way. I sort of 1-2'd because I was going to lose the first round. I mean, I might not have lost the first round. It's hard to tell whether or not I would have won that game. I was behind. I definitely think that, but I don't think I was quite out of it yet. And then this game was a little bit of a tough one to lose. Palakworm is really good against me, obviously, but it's particularly good against the kind of deck that I'm playing, which doesn't really have an answer to it. And since I'm an aggressive deck, it's really hard to get him dead before turn 6 or turn 7 when he can play it. Either way, if he hadn't played it when he did, then I would have been very dead. But at the same time, I should not really have lost to this guy, right? Because I would have... No, I would have lost anyway. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the draft, and as always, leave comments if you have any suggestions or ideas that I could have done stuff differently. I'm always willing to listen and willing and happy to listen to what you have to say about that. So, yeah, have a wonderful day. Bye.